I'm here at Remote Control Studios in Santa Monica with Peter from UJAM, and we're looking at Finisher NEO, which is a new product from UJAM, which does interesting and peculiar things to sound. And I don't know very much about it so far, but Peter does. So Peter, tell me something about Finisher NEO.
So Finisher NEO is our attempt to create a really inspirational effect. Like all that we do in UJAM is about saving people time and keeping keeping them in flow. Like not make them waste time or do tedious stuff. And Finisher came about when we released Virtual Guitarist Carbon.
I remember.
Which is our first virtual guitarist that we actually wanted to be a sound design tool rather than a replication of something that's existing in the real world. And the sound design bit of it, and because we had that terminology in Virtual Guitarist Carbon, we called it a finisher.
Okay.
And the first reactions to Carbon were very strongly like, when can we have that as a plugin? So we reacted really quickly. I mean, this was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And turned into what you see now into Finisher NEO. What it is technically it's a multi-effect rack, a virtual multi-effect rack, which gives you 50 configurations to pick from.
Okay.
And you control them with only 3 very powerful macro knobs. So in every configuration, you have up to 60 algorithms in there.
Okay.
And the configuration determines which effects you hear and what their parameter settings are.
Yeah.
And for every knob, for every parameter, the sound designer can set the range and what it does. So as you can see here, the knobs are labeled differently in every preset, so they always do something that's very musical. Okay. So you as a user, the situation that we thought about was you sit there, you have a bland sound, something like a dry guitar or dry Rhodes piano or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't know where you're going, you just know I want to unbore it. So, and that's what you use this thing for. So basically go through the modes, tweak stuff until you like something, and that ideally that happens very fast.
So it's an unboringizer.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Unboringizer.
But so these macro controls are adjusting multiple parameters.
Yeah.
And they're scaled differently, and you've thought that stuff through. So okay, brilliant. Well, I think we should hear it. So it's an unboringizer. Let's unboringize an example. You've got a fairly conventional Rhodes here. What can we do?
You can call it boring Rhodes. So here's the boring Rhodes, and here's the. I'll just turn up this knob, and you can listen to what it does.
Okay.
So as you can hear, that's a combination of effects. In this case, it's grain pitch, it's reverb tail, and there's a chorus in there. So it can do this kind of stuff, like really wide textures. It also it can crush stuff.
Okay.
And then you have these 2 knobs here where you can set.
Oh yeah, and that's shredding it.
Variations. We have a swirl category, so we have like these 5 categories. Swirl basically means modulation effects that twist the sound. And here I can morph between chorus and phaser.
And we're still in this toffee, cream and whiskey category, but we've got all of these different variations with sort of fairly intuitive category names. Okay. So shape is modulation?
Shape is combinations of, for example, of EQ, convolution,
that
stuff
kind
like
of
that.
shaping.
That shapes the sound.
So
dynamics
shaping
could be as well. So this one transports the sound into a space station.
Oh yeah.
So here's the dry one. Like you're recording it from the ISS. That was the idea of that preset. This is a gator. So I can set the speed here. There's a filter here.
Okay, hello.
So as you can see, those knobs are programmed to give the most useful changes in the musical context. And then the boost category is something. Let me go to the vocal here. That does what the name of the effect says. It finishes the sound. So you don't have to set up a whole vocal channel, but you can do it just through this preset here. Let me find the vocal finisher.
I'll light the way so you can see.
So it gives you more detail here. And you can add an ambience with a second voice. So that's a very simple way of getting, even if you're just working on a demo, getting the vocal to stick out.
But it's quick, broad brush, turn it, see what you get.
Exactly.
I understand.
So that's the whole idea about this thing. And you have, as I said, you have these 50 modes. So they are divided into those 5 categories here. You have a browser here where you can select the individual modes. You can also automate the mode selection because Finisher actually can switch between effects glitch-free.
Oh, okay.
So, you could, on the one, you could have a distortion, on the two, you could have a reverb. That's all possible.
Oh, I see. And that's going to be... All right, so, I mean, so we've got some dynamics and some saturation type effects as well. So should we try it with something more percussive and see what it does with...
Sure.
With some drums or something like that. Okay.
So that's the original sound.
All right.
That's crushing it a little bit, and then...
Subtle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, yeah.
Right? This one sets it back to we call it back to 1900.
Oh, I see. So we'll get kind of like...
gramophone.
Yeah.
Gramophone sound.
Okay, bit crushy, aliasing.
Yeah, exactly. All kinds of bit crushing. But with dynamics as well. That's a slam compressor here.
Okay.
And you can put an ambience on the lo-fi effect.
So that was a quick look at UJAM's Finisher NEO. This is coming soon.
Yes, January 28th.
Fantastic. Community may have seen we featured Finisher Micro, which is a free plugin that we featured on the blog in December. And this is kind of the grown-up version.
Exactly.
Absolutely fantastic. So really interesting to see. Thank you very much. And I look forward to digging around in that and seeing what comes up.